What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Hoops Betting Hour. I am your host, the big man on campus. We're here live on a Thursday, May 20th, 2021. We are getting closer to the official start of the NBA playoffs, even though one might assume that we're already in it. Playing games, they're happening. We got another one tonight, got another one tomorrow. The real playoffs get started on Saturday, which is exciting. But I'll tell you what, it's been nice having some games to bet on because, look, if this were any other year, we wouldn't have this going on. Or maybe we will going forward. Who knows? But again, it's been fun. Last games last night were good. We got one to break down tonight. We'll do that here in just a little bit. Let's bring in our guest for today, Spread Astaire. Spread, how you doing? Good to see you. You've become a regular guest here on the show, and we were trying to build a triumvirate of handicappers. And how you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I love the playing so far. I thought last night was a lot of fun, and I think the other thing it's doing is it's giving us a nice build for these first-round matchups, right? So for like Clippers-Mavericks, we've had a full week to talk about it, like we do with the NFL. You know, really build up to it, watch a little bit of line movement and things like that. We got 4 days for this Suns-Lakers to build. I think it's going to be great. I've had a lot of fun, and last night that was a great basketball game. I mean, as close as could be.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, both games were great. Both teams were games were low scoring. Both games were, for the most part, close. I know, last night with the Spurs, they came out a little slow, but ultimately the game tightened up. Second half was very good, and you look at the night before, you had two games that weren't ever really close, and last night you have two games that both come inside the number. Both dogs cover. Both games go under. Shout out to our guest yesterday, Blackjack. He hit both. He had the under in the first game and then had the Warriors in the second. I thought the Lakers spread, let's just kind of recap. First of which with that Spurs-Grizzlies game, Grizzlies had some opportunities to put the game away and cover the number. If you had the Grizzlies last night, kind of a rough beat. They had some missed free throws towards the end. John Morant misses 1 of 2. And the game doesn't end up covering. But if you had the under, it was a wall-to-wall winner. And that was the Spurs, man. That was their season. They just didn't have enough. They would either have the lead late and blow it, or just not have enough to get the job done. They're going to have to kind of recalibrate, make some moves. But this is what happens. They had that kind of run where they were winning championships, and then you have to get younger, and this is where you are. You're kind of a middle-tier team until you can build back up.
Yeah, I mean, some nice little pieces there with DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson, but you hit the nail on the head. And the game last night, I mean, they just came out so slow. They weren't able to overcome it. It felt like they were spent just to get back to even, and they can never make that push to get over the hump. To jump down by 21 in the end of the first quarter was just inexcusable for the Spurs, and that's what cost them the game here. It'll be interesting to see how they rebuild because they haven't done it since the 90s. So this will be something new for the franchise and see how well they're able to do it. But overall, it was a pretty good game last night. Memphis, I thought, was pretty impressive to beat a Spurs team that we thought was going to be better coached and more well-prepared. But Taylor Jenkins had his guys ready to go.
Yeah, and if you're looking at San Antonio going forward, I mean, you're kind of in a rough predicament now because by making a play-in or being relevant late in the season, now you're going to be picking 15th, 16th, 17th. It's not ideal. You're not going to have a high-level lottery pick. They're going to have to figure out what DeMar DeRozan's future is going forward. It's going to be a couple of year effort for, I think, the Spurs. But they'll be relevant. They have some good pieces so far. We'll see what they can do in the West going forward, but just not enough this year. The other game, very good. Warriors and Lakers. Lakers go down early. Halftime, they were down by 13, but they were in striking distance. You knew the Lakers would make some adjustments at the half, and they came out like gangbusters in the third, outscoring the Warriors 35-24, and then kind of taking that advantage into the fourth. Most points in the fourth quarter, they're up 5, 6, doing a nice job. Then the Warriors make a late push. But the shot by LeBron is just what LeBron does. He gets destroyed by Draymond Green. Really disgusting behavior from Green there. he comes back out, maybe with a vision problem, but LeBron comes in, hits a gigantic shot. Warriors had a shot at the end to tie it. Lakers don't foul. They just let the thing play out. Warriors turn it over. Game over.
Yeah, I mean, what a shot by LeBron, and what a game overall. I had a feeling about that game at halftime when the Schrader, Davis, and LeBron were combined 4 from 18, and the Warriors were up by only, what were they, 9 or 12, somewhere around there. It should have been 20 plus. If you hold those guys to 4 for 18 and you're not blowing them out the water, you're in trouble, because you know that they're going to not regress, but return to at least their average, and they did that and more. Schrader was the one that really threw me for a loop, right? We talked about how much he meant to the team. He didn't close the game last night. Did you notice that? They went with Wesley Matthews instead?
Yeah. Well, they had to. I mean, Dennis Schroeder was struggling. They had to make a change. And look, I'll agree. I mean, your comments were spot on. They were hard to watch in the first half offensively, the Lakers. I mean, just couldn't make anything. It was ugly. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you could continue with Schroeder at one point. So, Matthews gave them some energy, gave them some good minutes, and, was ultimately the difference. But look, this team, I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that they were able to win with Schroeder not really being on his game, not a ton of other contributions outside of AD and LeBron. You look at AD and LeBron, 47 of the 103. So basically half the points they had came from them. Kuzma didn't play well. Caruso had his stretches, but I mean, what on earth was that shot at the end of the game? Wide open, he hits the side of the backboard. What the hell was that? But hey, this is what the Lakers are going to do. Suns are going to have a really tough matchup here. Probably here they are going to with the Lakers. Brutal. I was a little perturbed. I wish the Lakers would have put a better effort in. I did play them minus the 5.5. But I'll tell you what. I thought if the Warriors are going to win or hang around, Curry was going to have a big game. Hitting that prop of over 36.5, it wasn't easy. I had a little play on that. It wasn't easy, but it came in. He hit 37. Hit the 3-point prop, which he continues to do. Look, if they're throwing 5.5 out there, it might just be an auto bet continuously until they push it to 6.5. But 2 good games. Let's get into tonight's action and kind of look ahead here. Thanks as always for watching. We get a nice amount of people here on a random, Wednesday or Thursday here at noon. But we get a lot of people to check it out on the replay. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. We continue to allow the subscriber base to go up, which is great. That's what you want long term. Make sure if you're in here, you hit the subscribe. If you're new, make sure if you enjoy the show, you hit the like button. That allows content creators to get some sort of recognition for the content that they're doing. As always, we are powered by PicksWise and presented by the great folks at FanDuel. Let's get into the game tonight, and it is in the Eastern Conference. This is for all the marbles on the 8th spot in the East. This is for an opportunity to play the Philadelphia 76ers. Indiana and Washington. Washington laying 3.5 here. Total 237. Let's kind of map this out here. So Indiana obviously has the huge offensive performance the other night. They dropped 144, even without Karis LeVert, without Miles Turner, with a Brogdon who was coming off injury. They needed Doug McDermott, O'Shea Brissett, Domantas Sabonis. How about that? Who would have thought Dougie McBuckets was the catalyst on offense? This is impressive. What you love about the Pacers recently, we know they're going to push tempo. We know the three-point shot hasn't always been there, but it's been there recently. They've been terrific from the three-point line. And look, Spread, in May, this has been a top 10 offense efficiency-wise. They've done a nice job offensively. What do we know about Washington? They're the fastest team in the NBA. Nobody faster. What do we know about them? They have great guard play. They don't have a great front court. They don't play much defense. Washington doesn't like to shoot the three ball. It's pretty simple. They want to get in isolation. They want to get downhill. They want to get into the fast break. Both these teams want to go fast. And that's been pretty evident in both of their games, in 3 of their games this year. Spread, you look at the 3 games. Here are the score lines. 133, 132. That's 265. 154, 141. That's 295. And then 132, 124, that's what, 266. So they have blown this total out of the water at 237. Now again, blew it out of the water. Won all of them by 30 or more when you're judging them by this total. Is the playoffs really going to change the microscope of what this game is? I have to imagine the entire world's going to bet the over here. And these teams have hit it. They've had some of the highest totals of the season, these two groups. Sabonis has absolutely destroyed Washington. In 3 games this year, 33 points a game, 14 boards, 9 assists, and 3 steals in 41 minutes. That's domination. They can't guard Sabonis. I wonder also, Spread, and I'll ask you, are Washington out of gas? Westbrook didn't look himself the other night. Beal looked hurt. Now again, Celtics a little bit better defensively. Do we just say you got to play the over here? How do you not play the over? It's not in the two. Is it really going to be 112, 110? Is that really going to be the scoreline here? These teams just seem destined for 120 plus.
I feel like you read from the prep page that I have. I pulled up these scores because this number is too low. It should be. I mean, even at 2.
Are the playoffs really going to affect it that much?
And so basically, I've bet unders on each of the playing games so far, right? The only one, so I'm 3-1 so far. The only one I didn't get was the Pacers Hornets, of course. But I'm switching tonight. Tonight I'm going to the over. This is I'd like this play more than the side, even though I did bet a side as well. But no, I mean, Indiana gets up and down the court. They can't defend. Sabonis has no rim protection at the 5. Brissett and Jakar Sampson are just too small. The Wizards like to get up and down the floor. And the Wizards went under, right? And I did take the under in that game. I was betting on the Celtics defense out there, right? You got Marcus Smart, you have Jason Tatum, and you have Kemba Walker, a veteran point guard who knows when to slow down the pace, and control the pace of the game in favor of his team, depending on how the momentum of the game's going. You don't have that in Indiana. Malcolm Brogdon, great player. He's a great player. Number one, he's not 100%. And number 2, he just goes. He's actually a better defender than LeVert, so I think that having him in the lineup over LeVert, which was a surprise for me on Tuesday, I think it helps the Pacers here. But you go over here. I don't see how you can get an under here unless you're just really trying to get cute and going off the trends of the last day.
Yeah, I mean, look, Brad Stevens isn't stupid. He's going to slow the tempo down. That's how the Boston Celtics are hoping to play. And they were able to make Washington a jump shooting team. The problem that Indiana has is they're not going to do that. They have to run as well. That's how they create offense. Neither team defends. You look at defensive points per game. I know people don't love that stat, but the truth of the matter is the Washington Wizards give up more points per game than anyone in the league. Give up 119 a game. Indiana not much better at 115.5. These two defenses suck. They both like to go up and down. Both teams want to get up. And you look at fast break points allowed. Indiana, dreadful. Washington, not much better. So, both these teams want to get up. They want to go. They have good guard play. And look, I know we'll knock some of the guys that Indiana throw out there every night. But you know what these guys have been doing? They've been out there every night. They're gaining more and more, and they become more and more dependable. Guys like O'Shea Brissett, you mentioned Sampson. A lot of these guys are pretty good offensively. They're not good defensively. McDermott's never been a good defender. You mentioned Sabonis. Sabonis is going to eat Washington alive. They don't have any rim protection. And Russell Westbrook, who didn't play well the other night. You know why he didn't play well the other night? Because he was made to shoot the basketball. Indiana ain't going to do that. They're going to go downhill. This game, and look, again, the regular season doesn't matter that much. It just doesn't. But when these two teams play, it was up and down, and they blew the over out of the water. It is a square bet. A lot of people are going to bet the over tonight, but I have no issue betting it. If it loses, look, if this is 102, 100, salud, whatever. I'm betting the over. You're like the over. I will say, if I can get forward with Indiana, I might take a little shot here. I think you can make the case. Both these teams, they're struggling a little bit just with, I don't know if Beal's 100%. He's not. I don't know. Obviously, they don't have LeVert. But I think Sabonis, I think if I like Indiana, why not just play a Sabonis prop, right? Because I think it aligns with the over. Sabonis has been absolutely destructive against the Wizards this year. I'm looking at points and rebounds. It's 39.5. It's high. But again, he has destroyed this group in 3 games this season. Absolutely destroyed them. Scored 30 or more in all 3 of them. He's grabbed 10 or more boards in all of them. 39.5 might be a little too low spread.
Yeah, I like your Sabonis look because I personally like Washington here to cover the spread. I think, we do this during the season, right? We saw Indiana come off a nice win, and we saw Washington come off a loss, right? So, hey, right, we just saw Indiana look good, Washington look not so good. The level the level of skill difference between the Boston Celtics and the Charlotte Hornets is unbelievable. It really dropped off from 9 to 10 there, a lot in the East here. And I believe that it allowed Indiana to look better than they are. You brought up a couple points, too, that I just wanted to touch on. You talked about Indiana's points per game. That's season long. That's baked in with Miles Turner there, where they were actually an average defense.
Right.
So if you take Indiana's numbers without Turner, they're much, much higher. They're a lot closer, actually, to Washington's. That's going to be an issue for Indiana covering against this Washington team, and that's why Washington went 3-0 against them this year. Now, granted, the most recent game, Beal dropped 50. I don't expect that we will get that tonight, but I just think that this is going to be a nice spot for Washington to bounce back. I think that Boston is such a tough team. Let's be honest, we don't have them anymore, but going into the season, you can make a reasonable case for Boston to win the East. We never thought of Indiana that way. We never thought of Charlotte that way. So Washington's definitely taking a step down in competition here tonight, and I think that it will show. Not to mention being back home. We saw how much that helped the Lakers last night, right? Didn't that feel like the first game that really had a home court advantage all year that you watched?
Yeah, it definitely helps for sure. And again, we need that.
Yeah, so I think this should be fun. This is, I've been hitting the unders, I've been hitting some dogs, but tonight, call me SpongeBob, I like the favorite in the over.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're going to see, and sharps are going to bet the under here. It just is that simple. We've seen it before. Remember, this total opened 240.5. It's down to 237. Okay, here, and again, for anyone that doesn't understand this, okay, the percentage of money, which is the obviously the bigger bets, are slamming the under. Okay, it's that simple. I'm going to go. Sharps are wrong. Okay, a lot. Okay, they lose. Okay, they're not going to win 100% of the time. It's just not going to happen. Look, they don't. I mean, sharps are going to win 55% of the time. They lose. I think they lose here. I have no interest in sitting there and watching this game with an under. But we're obviously on opposite sides with sharps. I'll take a better number. Maybe this falls 239, 238, and everybody wins, which could be possible here. Let me ask you, Spread. Obviously, I'm going to play this Sabonis prop. I lost the other night with his props, but I'm going to come back to it tonight. I think over props will be fun tonight. This will be a fun game. You got to figure Westbrook has a way better matchup here. When we're looking at him, I think the only real bet you go to is points, rebounds, and assists. It's at 53.5 tonight. It's higher than the other night. Obviously, the books are expecting more up and down matchup. He's going to have many more opportunities. I would probably look a little bit more tonight at that as opposed to the other night when I took the under. Any thought you like? Do you try to say, you know what, I'm just going to play the Wizards team total over? What do you think of that? Are you scared at all by this movement down?
No, it makes sense, right? There's people that have been conditioned, and rightfully so, because they've won money over it multiple years, betting the unders in the playoffs. I'm one of them. I bet 4 unders so far.
On it's the one right now, right? 3-1, as you said.
Yeah, so I can understand, but at the same time, I felt like I had good reasons each time, and the only one I missed that I didn't feel like that there was that switch in atmosphere from the regular season was the Pacers game, and that's just, I think it's their style of play. I think Bjorkgren knows the same thing that Brad Stevens does. I don't think that he's got the personnel to pull it off, even if he wants to use the same things that Stevens did to slow down Westbrook. Having Marcus Smart out there is a little different than being guarded by Edmund Sumner, who I think is a nice NBA player, right? A nice rotational player. But Smart's a top defender, not to mention he'll get in your head. We're not going to see any of that tonight. He's going to feel so much more comfortable. And we'll see if he gets the shots he wants, because against Boston, they definitely dictated and forced him to take the shots that the Celtics wanted.
One thing you have to do as a handicapper, okay, you cannot fall in. And I've seen, it's funny because gamblers take, especially ones that just start, they take these things where they have their own way of doing things. Okay, then they have someone get in their ear and they start completely changing how they do things. So, and one of the things that a lot of people get hesitant about when you're maybe first starting out, and I even see it today, it happens to me occasionally. You see something, and I've always capped the NBA a certain way where I'm generally siding with the book, right? I'm looking towards fading whatever the public is doing. Okay, but sometimes you cannot be one of these, well, it's square because I'm going to be siding, I trust the over here. I think this is too big of an adjustment. These numbers flew over during the regular season. These teams, when you look at overs, these are exactly the types of teams you want, how they kind of play, how they want to play, how they need to play. And if it doesn't go over, like I said, it is what it is. I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to get upset. I think it's the right side. The fact that Sharps bet the under, as Spread says, that's normal. They always take unders in the NBA. And it could very well hit 238, 239, or 240, and everybody hits. So we hit the over 237, they hit the under 240 and a half. So that could be very possible as well. You could get an interesting middle here. All right, Sam Calmer. Can't take the Wiz with Westbrook's inconsistent shot selection, Beal's hamstring. Good line strength for Pacers as well. It'll be a great game to watch. Yeah, I agree. I do disagree on one side. I'm not taking the side. I'll just be on the total here, but I see your point. With props, I'm going to go with just one. Points or rebounds. Sabonis over 39.5. It's high, but he has really done well. And I'll be honest, I just don't see anyone that can guard him up front with, And we look at a guy like Valanciunas last night. He might have had a pretty strong matchup, and he did it up. I mean, he hit his point over in the first half. So hell of a job for Valanciunas. You look at, are we really worried about Alex Lynn, for God's sake? Give me a break. By the way, I've heard through the grapevine, it looks like Marv Albert, I believe, is retiring. Shout out to Marv. Definitely an odd character, but a good, a great reporter, a great analyst, a great commentator. According to reports, according to Turner, looks like him and the czar, Mike Fratello, will call the game tonight. How about old school? That's awesome. Shout out to TNT for that. I am so excited to watch this game knowing that the czar and Marv are going to call this game. I don't have to hear Chris Webber or not that I don't like Kevin Harlan, but that's nostalgia right there. Spread.
Yeah, I love it tonight too. I agree with you on Weber. One of my favorite players, obviously, is Sacramento. Spent some nice time of his career in Sacramento. I think the guy's great in the TNT studio. He's not very good. It's weird. He's really good in the studio. He's bad in the game. And
you're talking about Weber.
Yeah, Weber.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to not have him on there tonight because it's getting painful here, especially as a guy who likes him and roots for him and thinks that, he's like a genuinely good guy, and I always supported him in his career. But he's getting tough to listen to. So even though tonight will be a little bit of nostalgia and probably won't be that much better quality at this stage in their careers, it's still something fun to do, especially for us that grew up on that.
You always got to enjoy the yes.
Yeah.
With the facial. So, yeah, I enjoyed Albert, one of my favorites. Okay, so there we go. We'll do best bets, then we'll just kind of foreshadow next couple of days here. I'm going to go over 237. It is what it is. Getting the best number, that's what I want. That's helpful. We'll see how it goes. I'm pitting it against the Sharps here. You like the over as well, right, Spread?
Yeah, I like the over, but just give them something different. I do like the Washington Wizards here as well. I think it's a great bounce back spot for them. And the problems that Russell had, I think he fixes them. Our guy Sam mentioned Westbrook's inconsistent shot selection. I think Boston had a lot to do with that. I don't know if Indiana's going to be able to force him to. I think he's smart. I think he knows he needs to get to the rim. And they prevented him from doing that. I don't think Indiana will be able to do that tonight. So I think that the Wizards and Westbrook shot selection looks a lot better tonight.
If you want to tail spread, you could do so. You could also, at FanDuel, do something called the SGP, same game parlay. Washington on the money line, over 237, plays you plus 200 right now. So
not bad.
Just something to think about. But yeah, I'm going to go over 237, a little bit smaller play. Going to take some bonus. Points and rebounds over 39.5. Like this matchup against the faulty Wizards front court. Okay, Spread. Just kind of foreshadowing tomorrow night, Grizzlies, Golden State. I'll just ask you quickly. We won't have you on tomorrow. Ian Cameron will join us tomorrow. Any thoughts early on this matchup? Warriors laying 3.5 totals, 222. How do you bet against Stephen Curry here?
Yeah, I mean, this is really tough. I mean, we talk about bounce back spots. We just watched this game on Sunday. I thought that Golden State looked in control, and towards the end of the game, I was holding a Golden State ticket, and you just felt like you had the better shooters, shot makers, and they just knew how to execute down the stretch better. We saw the difference in defensive intensity last night in the first two games. I think that Golden State continues to get it done, and we'll get a Golden State-Utah matchup in the first round.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not going to lie. Isn't this kind of what I said would happen? We didn't.
Yeah.
You know Steph's going to win. Right now, let's look at something here. Steph, obviously there's no props up yet, but once they come out, Steph's going to hit 40 here. They're not going to put a 40-point prop out there. They're going to put 36.5 out there again. He's going to torch the young Grizzlies. Grizzlies are close, though, man. They're not too far away. They got a star. They got some nice pieces. I'll tell you what. They need a kind of wing, like a high-level wing.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar DeRozan, maybe?
Yeah.
Somebody like that.
Yeah. They definitely need a wing, and we'll see what they do in this draft with the loss there that would drop them back into the lottery. Deep draft, they might even be able to address it without having to give up any of their young pieces. But, yeah, I mean, they've got it down low. Jaren Jackson, John Morant, let's give them a forward to help out. Even if it wasn't like a star, like the role that DeAndre Hunter was filling for the Hawks this year, an OG Anunoby type role. They need a glue guy that can switch 2 through 4 and stretch the floor like that. But the whole league needs that, right? I mean, I think that's the number one most desired player in the league right now.
Yeah, and as we've noticed, the lottery basically shaking out. The 1, 2, 3 is already decided. That you would imagine. Again, it is all determined by ping pong balls. But if it goes the way we think it will go, Houston would be number 1, Detroit number 2, Magic 3. I'll tell you what, man. Detroit at 2, they're going to get Mobley. I'm telling you, that team's going to make the playoffs next year. You heard it here first. Detroit is going to make the playoffs next year. That's a high-level front line with Stewart and Bay and Mobley. Watch out. Spread. Killian Hayes, Domboye. Maybe get another free agent in there. Love it. Give me Lou Williams on the Pistons. How long is he with Atlanta for? Is he sticking around there?
I think he's got another year on his contract.
Damn, too bad. Well, maybe. I'm sure they'll get somebody else. Let me ask you, Spread, do you think there's been, when you're looking at the teams and how they've been kind of created, what an impressive job the Atlanta Hawks have done to really build their team. This is a group that was in the bottom of the league just a couple years ago. They've done just a really bang-up job down there. Whether it's, just what kind of the leadership that Nate McMillan's brought middle of the season. Travis Schlank's done a great job as their GM. Just terrific stuff to build them into what they are. And it's all been through the draft and free agent acquisitions.
Yeah, I mean, as a Kings fan, obviously it's pretty
Yeah,
encouraging to see a
rough.
team who passed on Luka Doncic turn things around and make the playoffs. But they got a
Who
pretty
they
good.
take instead?
Well, they traded for Trey, and then I think Hunter, the one I just mentioned, was the extra pick that they got because they traded back, so they got an extra pick from
And
Dallas
who
on
they
that.
get instead?
They took Trey and I think DeAndre Hunter.
No, the Kings. I mean,
Oh, Marvin Bagley.
yikes,
That
didn't work out.
Jaleel Okafor 2.0, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
lived through that. You lived through that
Oh
experience.
yeah, in Philadelphia. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had that hack
Yeah.
here. Yes.
So, hey, looking at since I won't see you before Saturday, are you going to bet any of the series prices of the games that tip off on Saturday?
Yeah, I've actually already played a few of them. I took the Hawks against the Knicks.
Oh, okay. Wow,
I just think
like that.
I just think they're the better team. I think all the added scoring they have now, they're just better offensively. I think they can handle Randall, down low with Capella and Collins and some of the kids they have. I think defensively they've gotten, shadily better. They're not great, but I think they're better. I just think they're the better team. I think Trae Young's the best player on the court, obviously. I also took Portland to beat Denver, but I did it a little different. I think it's going to be a great series. I think it goes 7. I took a shot with Portland to win 4-3 plus 490. I think that's going to be a high-scoring, fun series. I took the over in Game 1 already, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm still kind of determining what I want to do with some of the other ones. I think Miami's kind of a live dog a little bit, and I think regardless of what the number is, I'm going to bet Philadelphia. I think there's absolutely no shot they lose in the first round. None.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Who would you rather play? I'm thinking if I'm a Sixers fan, I'd rather play the Pacers.
Indiana for sure.
Yeah, you'll crush them. I think
you're not going to have LeVert, and
Yeah.
Wizards do scare me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they
'Cause
scare you in
Beal
the fact
and-
that they could push it to 6 rather than get swept, right?
I'll tell you though, as a fan though, I talked to Ryan, one of my best friends. He's done shows with me in the past. Him and I were talking about going to one. I think maybe Game 1 or Game 2. I would love to see Russell Westbrook. I've never seen him in person, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking that I'm excited about the thought of that possibly. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think you will, obviously, with my plays tonight.
Yeah.
And then one other thing I was going to talk to you about. So we get so insulated in our Twitter bubbles and talking to other people who handicap the NBA. With all the uproar I saw over Milwaukee not playing their starters last Saturday and how it was so stupid, I could not believe that this Milwaukee series opened at minus 295. I mean, you would have thought it was going to be even money. The way that people were almost eliminating Milwaukee from the playoffs for that move. So, I mean, I really like Milwaukee to bounce back here. I think they got a lot better. I like the additions of Holiday and Tucker. I think that 5 they can run defensively. They can get the stops the way that Miami did last year. But at this price, it's Miami or pass. Are you as surprised as I am that number's so big?
Yeah, I mean, again, you're not giving Miami a ton of respect. I mean, this group's playing very well. They are the defending Eastern Conference champs. They've just markedly gotten so much better over the last month and a half-ish. They're playing at a high level. They're shooting the ball well. Adebayo looks terrific. Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Butler. They have a great coach. I think this is going to be a low-scoring series. Obviously we know Milwaukee like to run a little bit, but I think this is going to turn into a bit of a half-court game, kind of a lower-scoring series. I think it's going to be a good one. I think maybe take a shot here with some kind of, you can get the Heat plus 1.5 games at plus 112. Does it go 7? I don't know. I think they have a shot here. They have a real shot here. But yeah, I thought the number was a bit high for sure.
Yeah, that was the one that surprised me the most. And did you get a number for the Lakers and the Suns? Because that was a little higher than I expected as well. But it made sense when you correlated to what the conference odds
I
are.
don't have a number yet. No, I do have a number. I'm sorry. No, all I have is it looks like it's just coming out here.
Okay.
I just have series correct scores, series total game. For a Lakers sweep, plus 800. For a Suns sweep, plus 2,200. Listen, I'm going to take the Lakers here. I want to take the Suns. I have a future on the Suns. It's just a tough matchup. Can the Suns really do it? I think it's a fun series, though. Should be. I'd love to see 7. I think we may.
I mean, is there any way DeAndre Ayton plays solid defense against AD, or is that just
he's not even played recently?
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're pretty good defensively, but they've looked bad over the last 2 weeks or so. I mean, did you see Lillard against Bridges? He was destroying him that game.
Yeah,
that one game.
He was destroying, and that was a matchup that I'd kind of liked there for Phoenix. I thought that Bridges was their best effort. Getting destroyed by Lillard, though, that happens to a lot of players. So if Ayton's out, do they go with Saric?
Listen,
on AD,
I know Dario well. He was in here in Philly for a long time. He's not in the league for defense. I mean, he's an offensive guy. Frank Kaminsky. I mean, come on, give me a break. Well, listen, if they can't guard LeBron, which can Crowder still guard at a high level? We'll see. Yeah, they got to get going on the defensive end because they looked bad towards the end of the season. If they play defense like that, they'll lose 4-2 probably. I'm taking the Lakers. Yeah, it's that simple. This is the weakest 2 seed. These are the weakest 1-2 seeds in a long time. They're not. I mean, can you honestly say that right now, today, these are the 2 best teams in the West?
No, of course not. So,
how healthy is Utah even?
Yeah. Just to throw something in real quick, I checked Basketball Monster. DeAndre Ayton will play on Sunday, though. So he will at least be out there for him.
Well, there you go. And maybe they were holding him out as precautions, because they knew the playoffs were coming. Smart move. Didn't matter anyway. Let me ask you. So Warriors beat the Jazz the other night, but again, that was without Conley and Mitchell. Now, again, if the Warriors are in, remember back on March 14th, Mitchell and Conley both played. They combined for 47. Gobert had 24. Clarkson had 21. You would have thought, that's definitely a Jazz win. No. Lost by 12. Golden State put up 131. How about that? And then you look back even further. The Warriors played, did they play the Jazz? Yes, they did. Back on January 23rd. Jazz beat them 127-108. And got they got 1 win there, but this a Warriors team. They a live dog against the mighty Jazz. We'll see. What's Mitchell's and Conley's status?
They haven't put out injury reports yet. They only have 2 for the Sunday games that I'm seeing right now. Phoenix and the Lakers have put 1 out. Atlanta and the Knicks have put 1 out.
They'll be in though, won't they?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, that's that for the show. Tonight, we're on the over, 237. Call it square, call it whatever you want. But again, 260s, 290s all season. Don't think the playoffs are going to change it that much. Big adjustment here. Spread also likes the Washington Wizards. I also like Sabonis over 39.5 points rebounds. That's the show for today. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll take a look at the Warriors and Grizzlies. Ian Cameron will join us. We'll get his thoughts on the weekend slate. We'll definitely talk to Spread over the weekend as we have the playoffs getting here. It's going to be a fun month or 2 here coming up here at PicksWise as we head into the playoffs. We are here doing this show till the end of the finals. It's that simple. That's what we do here. So make sure you join us for all that. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss a show. I'm here every day, 12 Eastern, breaking it all down. Spread Astaire, you can find him on Twitter at Spread Astaire. Spread, you're doing all sorts of NBA content. What's the tennis outlook? Are they playing tennis right now?
Yeah, right now it's the kind of lull before the French Open, which begins Memorial Day weekend. So they got 2 low-level tournaments in Serbia and Italy right now, but really it gets started again at Memorial Day weekend with French Open, and that should be a lot of fun. And of course, that's when tennis will go back into the national media, getting some ESPN and some NBC.
Let me ask you, when it comes to tickets, so I kind of want to go to one of these Sixer games. Do I buy it tonight or today, right now? I got to find out the opponent first. I mean, I can buy them, but I got to know, right, personally? Am I as interested in going if it's the Pacers?
Yeah, I mean, it's a guaranteed win. It's almost like just going to a party.
Yeah, but
like a graduation party almost.
I want to see Westbrook. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
I might wait.
I can understand that.
I could buy him on the secondary market.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you all. Spread, good stuff. Sam Carmer says, can't wait for Wimbledon. I don't watch tennis, but Spread caps it and does well with it. So shout out to Spread. Spread, thanks, man. Talk to you this weekend.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. This has been the Hoops Betting Hour. I'm the big man on campus. He's Spread Astaire. See you later.